What's up, guys? It's your man, Donovan Sharp, and welcome to this very special edition of TSR Primetime. I, of course, am joined by the lovely and talented Rebecca Barrett. Now, Rebecca, you and I just met for the very first time about 30 seconds ago.
Yes.
I like to do that so that we have kind of an organic conversation. Just so just so people can kind of get the feel of what we're doing here. So let me ask you this: you said this was a long time coming. How did you hear about me? And then I'll tell you how I heard about you.
Yeah. So, my good friend Allie, the real Femme Sapien.
Oh
Yeah.
yes.
She and I have been friends, internet friends, and she went on your channel, on your stream, and then after that, I started watching The Six. I think that's what it's called,
Yes.
with the girls, with the women.
Yes.
Yeah. And yeah, I've been following it, and yeah, I've heard about you also through Fresh and Fit. But yeah, it's finally our paths crossed. So
Yes,
thank you for inviting me to
of
come
course,
on.
of course. Now you've done Fresh and Fit before, am I wrong?
Yeah. Yes, I was on the show.
Okay, and what was that like?
It was good. It was actually good. This was before the drama, the Dramageddon. And I was 3 months pregnant.
Oh, yeah.
At the time my husband came. Everyone was super respectful.
Good.
We had a good show. The women on the actual show were very respectful as well. And overall, it was a great experience. I did not have a bad experience. And that's my truth, or whatever you guys want to, they love to say that, oh, it's my truth. But yeah, that's my experience on Fresh and Fit.
So are you going on the record and you're saying that you had a good experience on Fresh and Fit? You mean Myron Gaines doesn't have, bleeding fangs coming from his mouth ready to pounce on all women who says that all women are like that?
Yeah, it's interesting because when you agree with a lot of the things that they say,
right,
they're very nice. So.
Well, there we go. Yeah, I've known Myron for, good God, I've known him for almost as long as I've known Kevin. And it was I knew that Myron had a knack for this, just because I knew that in order to do what he did for a living. See, I knew that he had worked for Homeland Security before he even thought about, the internet and YouTube. And so I said, okay, this kid is a quick learner. He is clearly bought in. And I kind of put the bug in his ear. I was like, hey man, anytime you want to stop working for Uncle Sam, I think you do a pretty good job.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So yeah, and without Myron would have gotten where he was without me, because it's clear now he's got over 700,000 subscribers. If I didn't give him a shot, somebody else would have. So I guess my first question for you, first of all, congratulations on your new kid. This is your first kid. Tell us about whatever you can. Tell us about the pregnancy. I don't even know if it's a boy or a girl. Like what's going on with that?
It's a girl.
Okay.
She is wow, I just went super blurry. I don't know what's going on with my camera.
Yeah, my camera does something sometimes. It's all good.
So my daughter River was born in February 2023.
Okay.
And she's now 10 weeks old, and my life has been completely consumed with baby. And it's honestly been the best experience, the most fulfilling experience of my entire life.
Really? Okay.
I've never been so happy and so fulfilled. And she is the best baby. Like, she doesn't give me a hard time. She sleeps.
Wow. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And we're like, we hang out every single day. So 24/7. But it's honestly, the pregnancy was a little difficult, and delivery was really difficult as well. I gave birth naturally with no medication.
What?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
It was a long labor and I wouldn't say traumatic, but it was pretty intense at the end. but we both made it out alive. And
Now, why did you choose to go with the natural birth? Is it because you're thinking the epidural or the drugs could affect the babies in some
well,
way, or is it
yes,
just
so there
oh,
is
okay.
that as well. So there's a lot of things that go into my decision. Mostly because my dad passed away in 2021.
Oh, wow, hear that.
And it was a hospital uh
Oh, wow, yeah.
situation.
Oh,
Um, I'll just leave it at that. I'm
okay.
sure people will speculate and all this other stuff.
Fair enough.
But
Of course.
yeah, and so going into my pregnancy, I was very nervous and I had a lot of anxiety about giving birth in a hospital,
Mhm.
knowing what I knew about my dad's death.
Okay.
And so I decided that I was going to give birth naturally, and that thought has never crossed my mind
Okay.
before 2021.
Okay.
And and the more I learned about natural birth and what that means, and
Mhm.
that's how women have been giving birth since the dawn of time. Um, I felt empowered to do it, and I thought that I could do it, and I did. And my next birth will be like that, and my next
Oh,
birth after that will
I
be
was gonna
like that.
say, well, would you do it again or
Yes,
okay.
100%.
Wow.
Like 100%. And basically, my daughter led the way for the rest of the babies.
Oh,
So
good.
hopefully, my body has an easier time.
Wow. Now, I've heard now, obviously, I'm not a woman. How much did it hurt?
It's not, so it's weird because people think that it's like a direct pain for like many hours and it
That's
doesn't
what I
go
thought.
away.
Oh, okay.
It's actually like waves. So it's very, I don't know how to explain it. It's a feeling that I've never felt before in my entire life.
Okay.
The more that it was like the more into the labor process that I got,
Mhm.
the stronger and the more intense that I got. But
Oh.
once you get to a certain threshold of pain,
Mhm.
you kind of, your body is incredible and it kind of blocks the pain, and you allow oxytocin to kick in, which is the love hormone,
Wow, yeah.
and you feel um you feel like euphoria, if that makes sense.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I mean, you are passing another human, I
Yes.
suppose.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. And after I gave birth, my husband said, like, he's like, "You were on some other planet. Like, you weren't not here on Earth." Like,
Okay.
and that's how I felt. I felt like it was an out of body experience
Okay.
in the final pushes. But that's because I wasn't medicated.
Okay.
Um, and for those of you who, I mean, I don't know how many women viewers you have, but if you decide to do that, understand that there is fentanyl in epidurals, and that can get passed through the baby depending on
What?
a certain amount of time that you're in labor and that you have an epidural. So,
Wow.
yeah.
Okay. You know what? It's funny. I've tried to imagine what childbirth is like, but the closest thing I can probably come to it as a man is pooping, right?
Yeah. Well,
Like,
it is, I mean, it is basically that. It's your sphincter.
oh,
It is a sphincter, and
okay.
yeah,
All right.
it
Okay. So very good. So, and listen, man, there have been
we got
some.
our biology lesson today.
Yes, yes, we did. Holy moly. Okay. So, if you're passing anyway, kidney stone too.
Yes, it's more pain that a kid passing a kidney stone is actually more painful than
Okay. Okay. Wow. Very good. MGTOW by Logic says pro baby and proud of it. Way to go, Rebecca. Stefan Thomas says good job, Rebecca. Yeah, of course. J Blaze 11 also says kidney stone tune. Here's a question. Mahogany Sins asks, hey, Rebecca, haven't seen you in a while. Happy you're back and the baby's okay. Are you officially back or are you part-time back?
I'm officially back, but I am reducing my schedule. So I used to post
Really?
twice a week,
Mm-hmm.
and now I'm posting once a week, and I'm starting channel memberships and
Oh,
trying to do more lives
uh,
at night when the child
The
is
child is
asleep.
asleep. Yes, exactly.
This is her right now, by the way. She's so
Oh,
peaceful.
wow.
Well,
Oh,
I don't think you can see
baby
that.
monitor. Oh, she's a cutie. Oh, she's
She's
a cutie. Oh my,
she's really cute.
wow. And she's a baby and she sleeps. I've heard some horror stories about babies. So, well, hey, listen, congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations on that. I don't have any children, but I will live vicariously through you, and just
Perfect.
assume that I'll assume that it's a fantastic experience. So let's take it from the top here, Rebecca. Clearly, you and we're under the same umbrella. We are pro traditional. I guess we're red pill, manosphere, whatever the case may be. I don't know that you're a
Mhm.
part of the manosphere per se. Let's
Mhm.
take it from the beginning. What was your upbringing like, and how did that affect you in young adulthood?
Yeah.
And I don't want to put words into your mouth, but I think I remember your opening video. You said that you bought into feminism.
Yeah.
Okay, right. So what about your upbringing led you to, I guess, buy into feminism?
Yeah, so I grew up in a very traditional household.
Okay.
Wow, my camera is very blurry. I don't know
Okay.
what's going on, and I'm
That's okay.
so sorry about
No,
that.
no problem. It
It's
actually
messing up.
it looks fine. It looks fine
Oh,
when I
if
keep, so I'll
if
keep.
I zoom in, it's fine.
Okay, there we go. Okay.
Um, so I grew up in a very traditional household. My father was the breadwinner, and my mother stayed at home
Mhm.
with the kids. And I come from Brazilian parents, so um, both my parents immigrated here from Brazil to like start their new lives,
Mhm.
and they met while they lived here in the States. So I grew up in a Brazilian,
Yeah.
household
Yeah.
where mom was at home all the time,
Okay.
cooking, cleaning, and my dad went to work. He was an entrepreneur, he was a business owner. And growing up, I also experienced and saw infidelity. Um, and that was really the main trigger for believing the feminist ideologies,
Okay.
because I saw someone that I trusted, my father, and in the sense of breaking the marital, like the sacred marital agreement,
Uh,
or like
yeah. Right.
the vows,
Mhm.
right? Um, not in provision, not in any other aspect of our relationship or their relationship, but that particularly
Mhm.
set me on a path to feminism.
Okay.
And seeing my mom not be able to leave a marriage, not that she necessarily wanted to,
Mhm. Of
but for me, in my eyes, I didn't know the complexity of the situation, right?
course.
And so now when I'm like, the older I got, the more I understand. And now that I'm married, I completely sympathize with both sides, right? And
Okay.
now that my dad is passed, he actually told me a lot before he passed away.
Oh,
So,
wow. Okay.
um, you know, I don't blame anyone. And the fact that my mom stayed in the marriage is, first of all, you don't really see that today.
No, you
But
don't.
I'm so grateful for my parents for not leaving each other, because my dad could have easily paid child support.
Sure.
My mom could have easily taken him to court,
Mhm.
um, and she would have won, obviously.
Mhm. Of
But they didn't, and I'm so grateful for that. Now, at like hindsight is 2020.
course.
Um, and so when I was in high school, I grew up, I was a lot harder. Like, I was the older one, so I was the one protecting the smaller children and
Mhm.
doing housework and all this other stuff. And
You're the example.
yeah, I'm the example. I'm the one that everyone has to follow,
Yeah,
blah
right, right,
blah
right. Yeah, I got all that too.
blah. And so I I was like starting to get bitter, right? I was like,
Mhm.
I'm the one that always has to do all the work, always have to like protect the family, blah, blah, blah. So going into high school and then college, I started believing a lot of that ideology.
Sure.
And then I'm a mechanical engineer by education, in robotics.
Wow. Okay. Fun
Yeah,
fact.
yeah. And so I worked in the oil and gas industry on offshore and onshore rigs
Oh,
for my
wow.
first career outside of college.
So you worked on oil rigs at
Yes.
college. Wow.
Yes.
That was God, but that was a sausage fest, huh?
Oh, yes. That's literally what I called it, the Sausage Fest USA.
You know,
Um, so I did some offshore work in Alaska. I did onshore and offshore work, meaning like I would go to the platforms and I would stay there until the job was done. And so that kind of made me even harder. Like I was like, oh, I'm one of the boys.
yeah, right, right.
So you know, that's kind of how I played it, but then I had to put this like tougher exterior. So the more I like grew up, the tougher and tougher my exterior became. And then I moved to New York after, and then that's where everything
Where it
went
all went
downhill.
sideways. Yes, 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 New York. Now, I'll bet you
That's where it all goes
now
downhill.
was this upstate New York or
No,
was
no,
this
no,
New
the
York City?
city.
Ooh, oh boy.
Yeah,
Alright. Okay, alright, well, you
yeah,
survived, you survived. So let me
yes.
ask you this, it sounds like you had, God, to be able to be a mechanical engineer working on an oil rig, that sounds exciting. And by the
It
way, guys,
was.
if you have questions for Rebecca, 516-387-1987, the phone lines are open right now. The phone lines are open right now. Don't worry, we have a screener. So if you're a troll, I'll let you on and then berate you and then hang up on you. What was your? It sounds like you had a really cool life. So what was your aha moment? What was the event or the confluence of events that told you subconsciously, okay, Rebecca, I've got this wrong. The way I've been
Yeah,
living my life is not the way it's supposed to be. Because Rebecca, a lot of women say that they are not. Most women don't identify as a feminist, but most
yeah.
women have feminist have feminist beliefs. So what was the moment or moments that sort of shook you loose of that?
Yeah, so before I answer that, I want to say that I fully bought into feminism. I was at
Okay.
the women's marches.
Oh wow.
I the pussy hats, like all that stuff.
Oh,
Like
so you were all in.
yeah, I was all in. I bought in. Um so so there was a lot of things that was happening at the time. So in New York, I started two companies. The first company I sold, the second company I started failed with COVID.
Mhm.
Um and you know, basically New York, it's not only just feminism, but it's also hustle culture.
Of course, of course.
And so the the longer I was there, the more and more depressed I got. I'm like, I don't know how hard you guys want me to work. I don't know how hard you want me to push to sit at the table. And I was completely exhausted. Like, running a company and being someone who's very empathetic, it's
Mhm.
very hard to be that, like, hard
Of
person
course, of course.
and in those board meetings, and everyone's telling me, you need to fight harder, you need to do this, you need to do that." I had female mentors, and board members basically say, um, you know
Be more like a man, it sounds like.
exactly, "Be
Yeah,
more like a man."
yeah.
And so, you know, in my eyes, and in the world's eyes, I had accomplished so much. I was successful.
Mhm.
And I got to a point where I was like, okay, I literally have everything that I wanted and that I thought was the pinnacle of success, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
And I'm miserable. I'm
Wow.
not only miserable, I was I was alone. I had no prospects of anyone. Um, I was just, I was just mean, bitter.
It's hard to believe that you were mean because I've seen your videos and you're very it's hard for me to believe that you were ever like a pussy hat wearing, fist
Well,
waving feminist because
yeah.
you're very kind. I mean, right? I mean, I don't know. It's just kind of I'm not calling cap. It's just very
Yeah.
hard to believe that you were a hardcore feminist. That's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of it also was an act too, to like blend in with the feminists, because I'm like half bought in. Like I bought in, but I was like, huh. This
Yeah,
is
you
kind of,
were, yeah, kind of lukewarm, right?
yeah. I was like, I can agree with you guys on like the pay gap, but like the abortion stuff, so there was things that there were parts of it. And that's the thing with feminism. I don't think a lot of people know this. Like how I look at feminism, it was my blue pill, right?
Okay. All right.
And when I started taking accountability for my actions and um, understanding that the world doesn't owe me,
Okay.
and a lot of the things that you know I was pissed off about were things that maybe I should have done better. Um, and so I started taking accountability for my actions. I started understanding that the world doesn't revolve around me.
Mhm.
And from there, it was kind of like a slow progression.
Okay.
And that's how this process is too. Like, and I want to say this because, I read a lot of my comments, and I'm sure you get comments like this as well.
I don't read
Uh,
comments.
oh, okay.
Yeah, I didn't read my comments 3 years ago, but please, by all means, knock yourself out.
So a lot of the comments say, never date a feminist, never date, don't marry a feminist, don't get with feminists.
Right.
And what I think a lot of people don't understand is that, especially men, when you were blue pilled, right, and
Mhm.
you found the red pill,
Mhm.
you had a process. You just didn't become red pill overnight. You didn't just change everything about you overnight, right? You had to go through a process of understanding, oh, even the stages of like there's red pill rage and there's like
Yes.
all the
Oh, yeah.
so feminism is the blue pill for women. And so when you start understanding that, okay, the world doesn't revolve around you, you have to take accountability for your actions, you have to take personal responsibility, right? You
Right.
start working towards those things. It doesn't mean that overnight you're not going to be a feminist or have feminist ideologies,
Right.
especially because it's baked into the media. It's baked into
Uh-huh.
every single aspect of a woman's life. A
Right.
woman has been told since birth, you never have to take personal accountability,
Right.
personal responsibility for your actions. It's all the patriarchy, it's all men, all cisgender or cishead white males. Like,
Whatever the hell that means, right?
exactly, exactly. Whatever that means, because they make up their own terminologies. Um, and so that's really how it goes. It's not just overnight, it just happens like, "Oh, okay, I'm not a feminist anymore." It's
Okay.
like, "Okay, I need to work on this specific part of my life. Okay,
Okay.
if I want a husband, maybe I shouldn't be so aggressive. Maybe I shouldn't be bossy or try
Mhm.
to get my way every single
Mhm.
time." And it wasn't until I met my husband and we really went through premarital counseling that really changed my mind and really changed everything
Oh,
for our relationship.
wow. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, good Jesus Christ,
Sorry.
congratulations.
There was a lot that
No,
I
no, no.
just said.
This is what you're here for. I'm used to being the one that talks all the time. It is nice to not have to do all the talking because you know me. If you watch me, I'm a talk box myself. Cage Jackson with the $5 super chat says, "When you get a chance, check out the newest episode of the TV show Atlanta. Kevin Samuels is featured in it. Hilarious. I certainly will."
Oh, rest in
Kevin,
peace.
yeah, Kevin was a very good friend of mine, man. I'm still in shock about it. But Flaming Dragon 249 says Rebecca is a wonderful woman. Very nice
Oh,
of her
thank
to say.
you.
Desmond Emery with a $5 super chat has been waiting for this. Rebecca, if God blesses my family with a daughter, what's some advice to keep her from becoming a feminist? Oh my God.
Oh, well, there's a lot of things that you can do.
Put her in
And
a box
it's
for 18
most,
years?
huh?
Put her in a box for 18 years? I don't know.
Yeah, basically. Don't put her in public school.
Okay.
Homeschool. That's what I'm going to be doing with my
Yes.
daughter. Or co-opt with other parents that see eye to eye with what we believe.
Okay.
Um, and it's really having these conversations early on
Okay.
with your child about what the world is, and not taking away their childhood, obviously,
Mhm.
but presenting these things that you might encounter, or like if they come up, if they come across these things, if the conversations with other kids or whatever, like, oh, her mommy does this and she talks bad about her, uh, like the mom's dad or whatever. You just say like, oh, okay, well, that's their family and this is the dynamic and we're not like that.
Right.
We respect your dad.
Okay.
And instilling those types of values, like respect for my husband and
Hmm.
respect her dad,
Hmm.
um, and seeing that the patriarchy is better than having a matriarchy.
Yes, absolutely. I would also suggest, and this is more tongue in cheek, don't get her a smartphone.
Oh,
Uh,
yes,
yeah,
don't put her on social media. Don't
no,
allow her to go anywhere near social media,
my
please, thank
God,
you, and
destroy her. MGTOW by Logic, $10 super chat says, Rebecca, so glad your daughter came. You and her are safe and healthy. Healthy. I'm so happy for you and your family. Look at
thank you,
this.
MGTOW Biologic.
I'm gonna tell you what, man. You are really you're a star. Snuggles 668, $5.
I know
Donovan,
Snuggles too.
oh wow, okay. Says Donovan, I have watched you grow and I am proud of you. Keep up the good work and thank you for bringing Rebecca back in full force. Keep up the spirit. Good stuff.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for that super chat. And Stefan Thomas with a $2 super chat. I appreciate that. We've got a caller on the line who needs
Ooh.
advice on a situation. Let's go to Princess in Alabama. Princess in Alabama, you're on live with Donovan and Rebecca. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Sure can.
Hi.
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. How about you?
I'm doing fine. My question is, I just really have a question concerning, like, I'm a female, I'm a Black female, but I'm very feminine, and I believe in, like, submitting to your husband and stuff like that. I was in a long-term relationship with a guy 4 years, but I took advice from my aunt, but we have a child now. We was not married, but she told me to basically, because he was not helping me out with the baby. It's just 1 year old, and she told me to leave. And now I'm regretting it because it's hard to do all this by yourself, and I don't have no help from nobody. The main one told me to leave. She's not helping me. I haven't put him on child support because I don't think that's the right thing to do. Um, So I'm just basically doing it by myself. And also I go to college online. So it's very hard. I just don't know how to. We do talk, but we don't talk like we used to talk. But it's hard. And I'm just trying to figure out how can I mend the relationship or possibly, like, I don't know, get back together. But I'm very submissive, and I'm not the one who like back talk and none of that stuff, or like raise my voice at a man. I don't do none of that stuff. Um, so I'm just trying to, I guess, make things right.
Thank you so much for sharing that. Um, that's really difficult, and I tell women, and this is just like in general, if you are in a relationship with someone and you have a child, especially like a marriage or a long-term relationship, you have to really look at the situation. What is not only better in the long term, like if you so I have a friend who left her husband, and she didn't understand that just because you get a divorce doesn't mean that the child's father is not going to be in your life or present or anything. Like that's a long-term relationship that you're going to have with that person until maybe the child is 18. If not, it's going to be even further than that. Like that person's in your life for the rest of your life if you have a child with them. And so when I talk to women, it's really hard because you hear it from other women and you think that they have the best interest for you. And usually, if they're single or unmarried or, not in a long term relationship and not have a partner or children, they just talk out of their mouth. Like they just talk out of the side of their mouth. And, you know, a lot of times women stumble because honestly, and I'm not saying that this is your aunt or the person that told this to you, but a lot of them want to see you miserable like them. And that's the reality of the situation. I'm not saying that that's particularly your situation. I just want you to be aware before you start taking advice from other women that are not in similar
You're
situations.
absolutely right, because Miss Rebecca, you're right, because he told me like they just mad because you have somebody to cuddle with, you have somebody and all of that, and she literally told me like after that, because he's more older than me, and she was like, you should have never listened to me, that's your own fault, it's your own fault. Like now she's telling me it's my own fault, I could have just stayed there and helped him with his kids and just stayed there at home with him. But now she's telling me something different. Now I'm just saying to myself, I wish I would have never listened to her and took her advice, because I'm the only one impacting from it.
Right.
Exactly. And that's the bottom line issue. You're the one that has to deal with the ramifications of this, right? She moves on with her life like nothing happened. And so when you take advice from people like that, you have to take it my husband always says, eat the meat, spit out the bones. So you basically have to take the good parts and say, hey, I don't know what your partner's name was, but you say, hey, I'm struggling right now because we have a newborn, we have a daughter or a son, and things are hard for me. I was wondering if I could get some help from you. And having transparent, courageous conversations with your partner is the key to resolving these conflicts. My husband and I have courageous conversations about things all the time, right? I have a 2-month-old, and I am up at night feeding her, and my husband gets to sleep, because he works from 8 to, he's still at work right now, 8 to 9, sometimes 10 o'clock at night.
Wow.
And so, we have to understand that we have roles in our relationships. And if you want to go the traditional way, typically the women raise the children and the man works and does that stuff. Is it hard? Absolutely. And so my advice, and take it with a grain of salt. Again, you have to take all these things with a grain of salt. I would have a transparent conversation with your ex-partner.
I would too. I would, if I can interrupt here, Princess, I'm 100% in agreement with Rebecca.
Yeah.
I'm going to channel my inner Kevin Samuels here. Rest in peace to him. Kevin would advise you go back and try to make it work with the father of the child. Here's something else that you need to do. Stop taking relationship advice from women who are in bad relationships. The only relationship advice, listen, women never give good relationship advice ever.
Except me. I'm just kidding.
Well, here's the thing. Very rarely, Rebecca appears to be the exception to that rule, because she is in what appears to be a solid marriage. They have a newborn. They seem to be happy. Take relationship advice from her, but taking relationship advice from your single aunts and grandmothers and other women who have 3 kids by 3 different men, that is a no-go. Here's something else, Princess. You're also going to have to understand that these women are going to give you unsolicited advice. And Rebecca hit the nail on the head. Misery loves company. This is why your aunt told you leave your man, and then when you're having trouble, well, why did you listen to me? It's almost like your aunt is lying to you and telling you the truth at the same time. This is why you should never listen to women like your aunt. So my advice to you would be to definitely try to work it out with the father of the child. That is going to be the best for all involved. Rebecca, I'll give you the last word on this.
No, absolutely.
Go ahead. He told me that it's hard to work it out with him, but he's telling me now to leave him alone. He don't even want to talk to me now. And I can't even talk to him because he don't want to talk to me at all.
Well, don't give up. I mean, I don't want you to get personal here, but how exactly did you guys break up? I mean, were you nasty about it? Were you mean about it? How did that transpire?
Well, he was not. Okay, well, when I first came back from the baby is now a year. Okay, when I came from the house to, he wasn't helping me, and then he didn't sign the birth certificate. And my aunt was like, have he signed that birth certificate yet? And I said, no, he haven't signed it yet. And she said, you don't need to be with him. You just need to leave. He's just trying to play you and use you. He don't want to sign that birth certificate. Leave that man. And I was like, no. I was like,
Princess,
I'm just going to give him more time.
Princess, let me ask you a serious question, and I really need you to be honest with me. Is there a reason why he would not sign the birth certificate?
No, sir. That's the only guy that I have been with my entire life. I'm 34 years old, and that's the only guy I've been with, and he's 45.
Okay, so you're 100% certain that he is the father.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so my advice to you would be is to get a DNA test to make to prove that he is the father, and then try to work it out with him. That's the obviously there's more to the story here that you probably don't have time to tell us, but I would do whatever it takes to get back with him and work this out, because to be honest with you, you guys honestly, it sounded like you guys are a couple of teenagers, right? Like he doesn't want to talk to me anymore. My auntie, like, you're a 34-year-old woman, he's a 45-year-old man. You two are grown. You guys did grown man and grown woman shit. You guys made a human together. It's time to come together and decide. Now, work it out with him. You might not necessarily work out the relationship with him, but you're gonna have to work out some sort of agreement where you guys are co-parenting.
Co-parenting, exactly. And that's what I was gonna say too. The bottom line is, if you don't repair your relationship with him, he needs to have access to your child and to his child as well, right? And so that should be the ultimate goal, is to make sure that your child has both mother and father, even though you guys are not physically together, that your child knows that they're loved by both sides. And that should be your number one goal. From there, you can show changes that you do, and that has to come from like physical things that you do. You can't just talk the talk, you have to walk the walk.
That's right.
And so, if you do meet up with him and do exchange, or like do the child handoff.
Yeah, 1 week on, 1 week off.
Yeah, being respectful and being kind and just taking this process slow, that's what you need to do. And if you show changes, I'm sure he's going to be like, oh, she's making changes. She's not listening to the same stuff that she used to. And then he'll see it over time. It's not going to happen overnight, and you have to be patient because, unfortunately, your aunt didn't make this decision. You made this decision. And now you're going to have to work it back. So that's my 2 cents on that.
Well, thank you very much for the call.
Thanks, Princess.
We appreciate that. Yeah, that's a tough situation to be in. And my guess is that the reason why he probably doesn't want to talk to her, and I'm just speculating here, probably because he knows she's influenced by all of these women who don't really sound like their family.
It's unfortunate.
It is. Doe 917, $5 super chat. Interesting enough, says cis het white man was always a euphemism for Christ because feminists don't like how women were portrayed in the Bible. That was its basis in sociology departments. Okay, all right, maybe. Ostrike, $5 says, how do you feel about affirmative action for women, e.g., different standards, like the military, physical, all that good stuff?
I hate it.
Yeah, okay. Why do you hate it?
Because if you can't keep up, you shouldn't be a part of it. Like, and that's the other thing too, like you saw this issues with Ukraine, right? All of these people that identified and transitioned into men, unfortunately, you got to fight.
Yeah, you got to fight.
Right. You wanted to be a man. So, and that's the thing is, like, women want their cake and eat it too. So, if you want to be a part of the military, if you want to be a part of an organization, you gotta play the game. You got to play the game that was handed to you. You're not going to just flip the chess table because you're upset. Sorry.
Oh, I like that. Wow, flip the chess table. Yeah, especially when they go knight to king's bishop 2 and put you in check. You gotta stick that out. We'll go back to the phone lines here in just a second. Let me ask you this, Rebecca. How did you find this space? I'm considered, and I've tried to disassociate with the manosphere and the red pill, There's no way I can. I'm in it.
Mhm.
I've been in it for 8 years. I'm just going to call it what it is. I'm not going to run away from that. But how did you find this particular space where you agree with a lot of our talking points?
It's funny because my husband actually started listening to Kevin Samuels.
Very nice.
And he would put it on like out loud for us to hear. I
Dude,
was
I
like,
love your husband already.
I was like, what is that? And he was like, oh, it's Kevin Samuels. And
Dress
I
size.
was
You're like, wait, who's asking about dress size? Like, what is it?
yeah, exactly. And then I started listening to him myself and I was like, oh wow, like he actually has really good talking points. Obviously, I don't agree with everything he has said. And I don't think anyone agrees with 100% what anyone
Sure.
says here, right? We all a little bit nuanced. But I was like, oh, this is interesting. And then I thought to myself too, Kevin's saying this to women and women don't really listen to him.
No.
Um, what if other women got on the platform and started talking about this to other women? And then Jordan Peterson actually said the same thing. He's like, if you're a feminist or if you were a former feminist, why wouldn't you get the other people out of this as well? So you got to get your crazy sister to come to the other side.
Oh, wow. So do you have a sister?
No. I mean, like the sisters, like
Oh,
the feminism sisters. But yes, I do have I have two
bro.
sisters.
What does your sister do now? Do your see, my family, my entire family, they all know what I do.
Yeah,
Of course, my brothers, they love it. My sisters and my mom, not so
they
much.
don't like it. Yeah,
No, of course they don't. So how does your family, or does your family know? And if they do know, how have they responded to what you do?
yeah. My whole family knows, and
Okay.
my mom loves. She watches every video.
Oh,
Uh,
good. That's pretty
yeah.
good. My mom doesn't watch every video. She's watched a couple and she's decided I'm not really.
No, yeah, my mom's seen every video. And my sisters, my I see that's the thing about me. I'm a very vocal person. Like I don't mind people attacking me verbally. I have a whole Reddit page of people that hate me.
Wow.
The
I
feminists,
probably do too, but I'm not.
yes, the feminists hate me.
Wow.
Because I wasn't feminist enough for them.
Yeah.
And now and people like trad cons, they
Oh,
don't like, I don't know. I'm not liked by a lot of people.
dude, I don't think trad cons are just a whole other universe. Sometimes I like them and then I'm like, these people are, I try, they give me a headache, man. They really,
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is like my family knows me and they know that I'm a vocal person. I'm also very political. If you go onto my my Instagram, I'm very political.
oh, okay. All right.
So I'm not going to bring that on here, but
Well, look,
um,
I know enough. I'm not political at all. I know just enough about politics not to sound like a complete idiot when
yeah.
talking about them. So that's where I'm at.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing is like a lot of the red pill kind of bleeds into
Of course.
politics as
That's
well.
right.
So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Okay, very good. Let us go to. Oops, sorry, I was not on the ball. Let's go to Jay Blaze in Maine. Jay Blaze in Maine, you're on live with Donovan and Rebecca. Go ahead.
Hey, congratulations on your daughter, Rebecca.
Thank you.
I have one question. Say you're an 18-year-old girl from either a broken family or a single mother family. You're not in your feminine. What are the best steps a woman can take to get to the level of happiness you're at?
Wow.
Oh my gosh, that's a tough one.
Wow.
Follow YouTube channels like mine, The Real Femme Sapien, yeah, Allie. Get exposed to, and that's the thing, is like it's very hard because our voices are not the ones that people like.
They don't like ours either, trust me.
Yeah. Yeah, that's tough. Social media, the problem is that social media is filled with garbage and the garbage gets thrown to the top. So you really got to go digging for the good stuff, for the gold. And so I don't know. I read Jordan Peterson's books. I really like it. I know that there's some people that don't like Jordan Peterson. I like that he talks about personal responsibility and accountability. So reading about that would be a good thing. Or if you know this person, start sending them content like mine.
There you go. Absolutely. Thanks for the call, Jay Blaze. Yeah, a lot of people, and I'm sure a lot of people ask you, Rebecca, and I guess let me ask you, do women call you or contact you and say, hey, I have a sister, my mom, a friend who is headed down the wrong path. How can I red pill her, so to speak? Do you get those kinds of questions? And if you do, how do you respond?
I mean, I do. I get a lot of women that said, I've been watching your content and it's really changed my life, which is
good.
The thing that, I mean, that's why I make videos in the first place. What?
It's mind-blowing when people tell you that, hey, you've changed. It's just, I'll never get used to that.
I'll never get used to it either. I'm a regular person that just decided to turn on the camera and start talking to it. Exactly. And hoping that other people would join.
Maybe.
But also too, it's showing love to these people, because honestly, I'm telling you, everything in the media, everything that you hear from other people is women are right, men are wrong, men are trash. And so, having these influences, having people like me influencing other people and then them influencing more people. And it's really that one-to-one.
Keep going. I got to let my cat out.
No, it's okay. It's really having that one-to-one and sharing these things. And for me, I just make more and more videos. So that's why I don't stop making videos.
Okay. Very good.
Even though the mob might stop me, but that's okay.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, I've got a mob after me, man. They've been after me for a little over a year, but that's
it comes with the territory.
It does. Something I'm much better prepared for now that I've been through it. Omni Rosa, $5 says, does Rebecca have a younger sister? I'm looking for a wife like her. Here we go.
I do have a sister, but unfortunately she's married and about to pop out her second child. So
the answer is
no.
Okay, very good. Let us go to. All right. Yep. Okay, that was a little late. Lord Sinister 707 with a $20 super chat says, I love that a woman like you is in the space, because we do need both sides of the spectrum to truly make relationships better. This is, and we're going to go to Randy in Texas, and then Michael in Chicago, and then next on the phone lines. But this is something very important that I had to learn, and this was sort of an unintended, I guess, consequence, blessing, reward, is now bringing my woman onto the forefront. So, two of my very best friends, Myron Gaines and the late great Kevin Samuels, they blew up. And one thing that they had in common is that they allowed women onto the platform. But the difference is that most of the time when they have women on their platform, it's in an adversarial sense. In other words, it's women who disagree with them, women who are acting in bad faith, pretending they want advice, but they just want to come on and talk trash to Kevin. Women who are plant on the Fresh and Fit podcast who try to go on and try to get kicked out. Incidentally enough, those girls never get kicked out. It's actually quite funny because Myron's too smart for that. But I know myself, and I'm a very hot-headed individual. And I said to myself, okay, there's no way I can bring women on in an adversarial sense. I've dealt with a couple of women callers, and I think I handled them well. But I said, you know what? I think the red pill space has gotten to a point to where we can maybe start allowing women into the space, because as recently as 2 years ago, Rebecca, and you probably realize this as well, is guys like myself are like, no girls allowed, man. Like, this is the Berenstain Bears. We're building a clubhouse with the no girls allowed. And the longer the longer this went on, the more we sort of max things out. I mean, guys are always going to listen to me, but there does come a point where we do need female voices, because believe it or not, there are women out there who agree with what we talk about. Mm-hmm. This is why I ended up putting together the podcast with Pearl, Janelle, Allie, Tallulah, and my woman. How important do you think it is that women also how can I put this? Because there are women who come into this space who pretend that they want to help, but
Yeah.
they're really just looking for attention for themselves.
Oh, 100%.
Right. So if there are any ladies watching, how can you tell the difference between a woman like yourself and a woman who calls herself red pill and is just really just looking for attention?
Well, I mean, how I look, I'm a very, what is it? Like, I can sense people's energy. That sounds really weird.
No, you're a
Okay.
woman. And well, see, you're a woman. And well, no, here's when you say I can sense a woman's energy, what you
Yeah.
really mean to say is you women, you guys are socially calibrated to the max. And the reason for that is because of evolutionary biology.
Yes.
We as men were bigger, faster, stronger. And real quick, Superman is not as smart as Batman because Superman is invincible. He can just fly in and start wrecking shit. Batman's human, so he can't fly in like Superman. So he's got to be in too. This is one of the main differences between women and men. So when you say, "Hey, I feel people's energy," what you're really meaning is that, listen, I pick up on subtle nuances, vocal cues, the way they dress, and that tells me whether or not they're genuine. I'm not as good at that as, say, you are because you're a woman. So there.
Yes, so that's exactly what I do. I watch these videos. I watch people's content. And then, I hear some of the things that they say. And then I'm very good at picking up someone's genuine, like the genuine reason why they do this, right? When you look at certain women, when they make content, just look at the way that they dress. Look at the way their social media is run, right? You can tell a lot by social media and how they even present themselves. And here's the thing. It's like, I used to curse like a sailor. It still comes out. Okay. It still comes out a little bit. And I try to keep it PG on my channel. But sometimes I get a slip up. When I hear there's some women that just love to throw F-bombs in every single string, like literally every other word is an F-bomb. And I get it. Right. But at the same time, those are cues that I look at as well.
Okay.
But it's really, there's not like one defining thing that I can say, oh, that makes that person a fake or a phony, or what do they call chameleons?
Yeah. Right.
But I can tell, like, if they have an OnlyFans, I'm like, oh, probably not a good thing.
Probably, yeah. Yeah, welcome to the red.
Probably not good. Or if they're selling their Patreons for like one-on-ones with me, like that's the thing too. For me, I do have, there's a lot of guys follow me, but I let my husband look at all my messages, so he knows how to filter through all this stuff. Like he's aware I'm not posting thought pictures on the internet, and just there's like a filter that I go through when I talk to men. I don't have one-on-ones with guys. I don't take them under my wing, so to speak.
Yeah, right.
And I think women, I know that women do that, but
That's right.
I think there's, especially if you're in a relationship or a marriage, I don't think that's a good idea. And if you say that, that's a really bad idea.
Yeah, that's a really, really bad idea. I have lost this. Okay, whoo, my God, I lost the screen for a second. Just a personal question. Do guys hit on you?
Oh yeah.
Wow. So even though they know that you are in a relationship, they still hit on you. How do you deal with that?
Marriage and kids, and they'll still hit on me.
Shoot their shot. Holy smokes. How do you deal with stuff like that?
I just ignore it.
Okay. All right. Okay. Because some girls, it's funny. Some girls always, they like to complain, oh, guys are hitting on me and guys are creepy, unless of course the guy is hot. Right.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. Very good. Let's got a couple more calls here, and we'll let you go here in a few minutes because I know you're a mom. Let's go to Randy in Texas. Randy in Texas, you're on live with Donovan and Rebecca. Go ahead.
Hello, Rebecca and Donovan. How are you doing today?
Doing good.
That's good. I have two questions for Rebecca. One question is, can you briefly describe your experience as a mechanical engineer while you was working on your degree and your experience working on the oil field?
Sure.
Oh, wow.
Do you want me to answer that one first, or do you want to throw out the second question too?
then the second question is, this is different. What are your thoughts on your role as being a wife to your husband?
Okay, cool. So I'll answer the mechanical engineer. So mechanical engineering, I graduated, and I'm going to date myself. I graduated in 2012 out of college. And I, being a mechanical engineer, it's all book work. You basically are just doing math problems and physics problems all day long. So
Wow.
yeah, it's nothing what you do when you leave college, where you have to apply a lot of these things. So
So you actually use what you learned in college for your job. Go
yeah,
figure.
it was crazy. So I did a lot of electrical work when I worked on in the oil fields. So I worked on these systems called ESPs, electrical submersible pumps. So if you ever saw like those pump jacks, if you ever like drove by those like things that look like dinosaurs that go up and down.
Oh yeah, when they're doing the oil thingy. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So I worked on ones that you couldn't see. They were in the ground, and that's it. Like all you saw is like a little pipe that sticks out. And so what I learned in school, yes, I did translate it into my career, but you learn all the skills that you need on the job. They'll train you, they'll teach you what you need to know specifically to the job or the task that you have to perform, especially in the oil field, because they don't want people dying.
Yes.
So,
Yes, that would be bad.
So yeah, engineering is great. Any engineering degree is phenomenal to have if you are thinking about getting a degree, because literally everyone's looking for engineers. Electrical engineer, mechanical engineer, whatever you want to do. And then so my experience in engineering has always been amazing, but now I'm not a practicing engineer. I'm not any of those things. And so now you talked about your
role as a wife.
So honestly, like I was telling my husband this the other day. I was like, babe, I really love being a stay-at-home mom. Like it's the best. It's the best.
Why do you like being a stay-at-home mom?
Yo, I could go to Target at any time and just spend I don't have to do anything. Like I don't have to think about a spreadsheet. I don't have to do any of those things that I hated before.
So you're not going back to the feminist plantation.
Oh my gosh, no. Like people don't understand the best part of like doing this is like I can do whatever I want all day long.
Wow. Okay.
Sorry. I mean, it's great. And like if your husband, like my husband, our relationship, like he makes all the money. My YouTube money is fun money. Like we do whatever we want with that.
Yeah, right.
And so he pays all the bills and he takes care of all the finances and all that stuff. So for me, it's not that difficult to make a meal or clean the house, even in between taking care of our child and making sure that she's fed every 3 hours, right? So
wait, every 3 hours you gotta feed 3 hours? What? Wow.
Yeah, 3.5 hours she has to eat and sleep
at night.
At night she sleeps through the night now.
Oh, okay.
So she sleeps through the night now. But before I used to wake up every 2 hours either to breastfeed or to pump. So that was wonderful.
This is why I do not want kids. Holy smokes. All right, please.
Yeah, so being a housewife is the best, and being a wife to a man, that's the thing too. Like a lot of women get in these relationships and they want to control their husbands and stuff like that. My husband makes the decisions of the house. Sometimes I don't necessarily agree with them, but we learn the hard way, and he'll not make that mistake again if that happens to, if there's a mistake or whatever. And we move on. But like it's not that difficult to
women. I think I can probably speak for most women, especially like yourself, because being submissive is a lot of things. But one of the main elements of being submissive is relinquishing control.
Oh
Right?
yeah.
But a woman is not going to relinquish control to a man who doesn't have a good batting average.
Exactly.
Am I right in every single one of the decisions I make in my relationship? No, but I damn near am. All of the decisions that I make, and my brothers even tell me this. They say, dude, like everything you touch turns to gold. And it's
Mhm.
not that simple, because there's a lot that goes on in the background. But the reason why Devin trusts me is because she knows this is my third now successful business I've run. I owned a mattress chain. I own 7 rental properties in Las Vegas, and now I'm running this thing. So when it comes to making the decisions, and men, you guys got to understand, a lot of guys say, well, I want a submissive woman and this and that and the other. She's got to have a reason to trust you.
Exactly.
She's got to prove her femininity and her submissiveness, but women are not going to give that to a man that they don't deem worthy of it. Now, she does have to have realistic expectations, but if you're going to have high expectations for a woman, you're going to have to expect her to have high expectations for you, which means making the right decision every time.
Yeah, you nailed it. Like, I mean, that's the thing, is that when I look at when I talk about submission, because I talk about submission on my channel, men are the CEO
Yes.
of the household, of the
Sure.
family, right?
Yep.
They make the ultimate decisions, but they take advice. They take,
Counsel.
a counsel
Mhm.
from their COO, their CFO, right?
Right.
At the end of the day, he's going to make the decision with having the knowledge that I provided him, right? Sometimes sometimes I'm wrong. Sometimes he takes what I say and he's like, okay, that's we should go down that route, right? And we weigh the options, and we weigh whatever. But at the end of the day, I trust him to make the best decisions for our family, knowing that he is going to make the best decisions for our family, because he feeds us, he houses us.
Right. Yes.
So,
He's got he feeds us and houses us. And it's funny, we say that tongue in cheek, but that's the way it's supposed to be.
yeah, and I have fun.
Of
So
course. You can do whatever you want. You go to Target.
I make YouTube videos. And I love it, So he allows me to do these. He's like, oh,
Life is
there
good
she
for a
goes.
stay-at-home mom. I'm trying to tell you guys, man. I'm trying to tell you guys.
Yeah, I think the women really, I think that's what we really need to show. Like, I think I'm going to start doing vlogs about like what being a staying-at-home mom and wife looks like.
Exactly right. Devin and I are going to, after the CME, we're going to shoot a course. We're going to call it the Relationship Blueprint. And it's going to be in audio. It's going to be in audio form. It's going to be in video form, audio form, ebook, and paperback. And what we aim to show people is this is how to have a successful relationship. But before we do that, before men and or women have to buy in, they got to understand what's in it for you. Okay. You are a clear example of that. If women are like, hey, you know what, Rebecca, I'm thinking about being a stay-at-home mom, but I don't really know. You can clearly show, hey, this is what's in it for you. Nothing worth having is free, and it's not easy, but I wouldn't trade it for the world. Okay, yeah, I had to get up and pump and feed every 2.5 hours, but on the flip side, I can take naps. Well, I don't know take naps, but yeah, I can take naps. I can go to Target at 1:30 in the afternoon, things of that nature. Now, Devin and I, we don't have any kids, and so our relationship is a little different, but Devin can take naps during the day if she wants to. I am her boss. Like there are advantages to that. So I think if men and women see the advantages of a cohesive relationship, I think that maybe we can start to change more minds. What do you think?
Absolutely. There's so much animosity between the sexes.
100%. Yeah.
And it's all, oh, it's their fault. Oh, it's their fault. And honestly, we have to look at our individual faults at play here and come to the table if we want relationships to continue, because at this point, the way that the internet puts it, everything is so nihilistic. I'm like,
yes.
I really think that there's hope for like mankind to continue procreating, because that's the ultimate goal here.
Yeah, if we keep going down this path, they're going to run out of people. Am I wrong?
Yeah, that's where we're headed to.
Right. Let's
So
go to, oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Finish your
that's
thought.
okay. So yeah, I that's what I hope to bring awareness. And yes, I knock on the feminists a lot, but because if someone doesn't expose them for who they are, then they're going to continue to indoctrinate women over and over
Oh my God.
for more and more generations.
Yeah. MGTOW by Logic says men need to come home to sanctuary. Please. We are asking for what we can't create. This is what it is, man.
Exactly. And that's the thing too. Like I buy all the furniture, I make it look homey.
Perfect.
I get to do the best things. I get to go to Home Goods and Target and buy things that make our house look pretty. Literally, that is the best job that I could ask for. It's
It's fun, isn't it?
not that hard. Like,
I love it.
and on top of that too, I want to say something because I
Go
think
ahead.
a lot of people don't understand this. They say, "Oh, Rebecca, you threw away a mechanical engineering degree, or you threw away a career." No, I'm going to teach my kids logical, like how to have logical conversations, how to have intelligent conversations.
Yes.
I can teach them physics by the time that they're
Yep.
five, whatever.
Sure can.
So
Right.
the fact that and that's how moms used to be. That's how women used to do it, right?
Yeah.
The things that you learned, you would instill in your children and raise the next generation to be better than we were.
Yes.
And so that's what I want. And if we have more women that came out of the workforce and said, "Look, I'm a very intelligent person. I'm a very logical person for being a woman, okay?
Right.
And I think I can instill all these values into my children so that my children can go out and make the generations,
Yeah.
even better and better and better and actually make some change happen." And that's how you do it. You do it in your household, and then your
Right.
household turns into your neighborhood, and your neighborhood, like moms are on fire. Okay, moms are on fire for things like the school board. If
Oh,
you are
yes. Oh, yeah.
and all these things that are related to the children, if you put people against your child, mama bear will come out and
Right.
literally rip your face off. So
To put it lightly.
yeah,
To
to put it lightly, we'll rip your face off.
let's go to Michael in Chicago. Michael in Chicago, you're on live with Donovan and Rebecca. Go ahead.
Hello, can you hear me?
Sure can.
Mm-hmm.
Right. How you guys doing? My question is for Rebecca. You actually already started to answer it,
Okay.
but my question was, what can be done to combat the global or national effects of feminism in terms of practical steps? Sometimes we're dealing with theoretical concepts and maybe big picture stuff, but like if someone said, step one, we should do this. Step two, we should do that. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, it is very difficult because it's so highly indoctrinated into the mainstream. Literally everywhere you look, the books,
The
everything, the
commercials.
commercials,
Commercials.
the
Yeah.
movies. Like, do you like? My husband and I were watching some movie, and it was this woman like kicking everyone's butt, and I'm like, I highly doubt
Good.
that she
The
could do
new
that.
Matrix. Let me just interrupt here. The new Matrix is all about Trinity. You've
I
got.
good thing I didn't see it.
Oh my God! It was and then dude, the what was her name? Scarlett Johansson. The
Oh yeah,
she's a human woman. She is kicking the asses of these 6'5" men with body armor and weapons. It's just like I can't even. Devin will tell you it's impossible to watch movies like that with me. So yeah, I'm with
yeah.
you.
So yeah, I mean, we're seeing a lot of indoctrination, but honestly, the practical thing is like if you are a traditional value woman, you need to, if you possibly can, have children so that you can create the next generation to make better humans. Like it's very, and also too, it's for me, I speak on social media. Not everyone is going to speak out on social media. But talking to your friends about it, like that little circle of influence can lead to bigger groups of influence. And that's really what it takes. Like, especially like in the old days, women would be a part of these women groups, and then the neighborhood would get changed, and then if you want to stop world hunger, you literally just have to do it in your neighborhood. Like
Yes.
start with one person. But it's very difficult, and that's a challenging thing to say. Oh, step one, stop blaming everyone else. Like step two, take personal accountability for your actions. It's really hard to say that to someone who literally grew up thinking that your shit don't stink. So
I'll tell you what though, Rebecca, I think your answer earlier, I think we can feminism is going to have to be vanquished from the grassroots side.
Well, yes. And that's the thing too, is that the more ridiculous this ideology gets and the more progressive that the feminists get, because we're living in a time now that before feminism understood that like women's spaces couldn't be taken by men, biological men who I want to identify as women.
Oh my God.
That's the true sign of the patriarchy right there, right? Allowing men to take over women's spaces. So the further and further these movements keep pushing women, right? You're already seeing this happen with more like classical liberals or classical feminists. They are moving away from these movements because they are getting to the point where it's like, okay, now a man can identify as a woman and therefore he is a woman because he just said he's a woman. That's ridiculous.
Yes.
And taking over women's spaces, that's ridiculous. That's where I draw the line. So the further that the ideology gets into the progressive intersectional space, the more that it's going to fall apart on itself. So they're just doing it to themselves. Like
Right.
they're literally doing it to themselves. There's nothing that I can speak on it. Women can speak on it, but they're literally eating their own.
Wow.
So,
Okay.
yeah. Or the children. They're eating the children too. So.
They're eating the children. Yes, they're eating the children too. No word from Mike Tyson. Yeah, I think the way to combat feminism is done, like I was saying before, at the grassroots. And it's just the way you're going to raise your daughter.
Yeah.
If you want to combat feminism, you can't do it on a large scale, because if you try to do it on a large scale, the large scale is going to push back and they're going to drown you out. It starts at home. It starts with raising daughters. Don't put them in public school.
Yeah.
Homeschool your kids. Don't let them on social media. Have these conversations with them. Hey, listen, the world is going to tell you X. I'm going to tell you Y.
The world will tell you that a man can be a woman. So, and a woman can be a man.
Dude, it's crazy. Like Devin has a niece. She's 14 years old.
Mhm.
And I think one time, oh God, I can't even remember, but somebody said I said something because I have strong opinions. And this was years ago. I think she was like 10 or 11. She's like, that's offensive. I said, Olivia, let me put you up on game. Now we have to have more serious conversations, because now she has friends that identify as boys. You know what I mean? So now she's going through that sort of thing.
Yeah.
It's very, very difficult to raise children in this day and age for them not to end up as a woke liberal.
Well, I will say for the men out there, because I know a lot of men watch you, and if you do have children, you are the decision maker of the family.
Oh, you're
Say, I am not paying for people to indoctrinate this crap into my children. So pulling them out of school, and if you have the means of homeschooling them or hiring a teacher or getting a group of you guys to do it with your kids, I'm telling you, if men start stepping up to this, and it's how do I say this? It's not the fault of men, but if men start taking back their kids and saying, this is not going to roll here, we're pulling our kids out of school and we're going to teach them, or we're going to put them in a co-op or whatever.
There you go.
Because you can make that decision for your family, especially if you're seeing them. I mean, if they got into middle school, good luck.
Oh my
Good luck. And in high school, it's like, well, we might as well just
yeah.
throw our
Oh
hands
my
up.
God. Yeah, dude. So I'll get you out of here on this question, because I think that this is a real possibility.
Hmm.
Something you said earlier was co-ops, like groups of like-minded parents sort of educating their children. Do you think that has a real future? Because it sounds great in theory, but I really do believe that people now have this is the information of this. I'm sorry. This is the age of information. You can look up how to build or do anything now on YouTube. You don't have to have a degree in rocket science to build a rocket. You can literally look up how to build a rocket.
Mhm.
Is our co-op homeschools for like-minded parents, is that really a possibility?
I believe so. I believe so, especially because of the age of information, right?
Okay.
We have so much information at our fingertips. We can figure out how to do school.
Mhm.
That's literally how people did it
Yeah, that's
before
cool.
public school.
Yeah.
But that's what they so that's exactly what they
Time to feed the kid.
No, well, that was my timer for her feed, but she sleeps through the night now.
Oh, okay. All right.
It was just that it's for my own sanity.
Of course.
But I really do think it has some legs. And the thing is like, you know, the fact that we can use the internet to create these co-ops and find more people to
Yes.
join the co-ops. That's how you use this information, or that's how you use information. That's how you use that. You can easily find materials online to teach your kid. If you don't know mathematics, you can figure it out online and
Right.
you can teach it to your kids.
That's right.
And of course, you have to go through like some homeschool regulation, like regulatory stuff.
Of course.
But if not, then you can collectively pay a teacher that you trust
That's right.
to teach your kids, and then you switch from home to home.
Yes.
So your kids
The
are
social.
exactly. So your kids are getting that social aspect of being around other kids, yet they're learning based off the morals and values that you guys stand on. And I think that this will come out. A lot of these things will be like patriot schools and things like that, because
Okay.
the far left is just getting even crazier. But that's our benefit. And this is what I want. This is what I want to end on, is like the benefit of them going and getting crazier is the fact that they're going to kill their own movements.
Yeah.
And the more and more they do it, the more people are going to say, okay, maybe we shouldn't teach kids about this stuff at 4 or 5 years old. We're done with this. This is not what we want to do.
I think what this is this is a culture of death, is what this is.
Yeah.
That's what I call it. It's a culture of death between abortion and
Don't even get me started on that one.
we'll be here until midnight. But
Yes.
but it's a culture of death. The left and the woke, it's just all about death. They're pro-abortion. They're pro killing your genitals. It's like they're doing everything they can. It appears that they're doing everything they can to stop the procreative process.
100%.
Point. You know what I mean? It's like, it's almost like there's some sort of mission statement.
Yes.
Where in the ethos that says, hey, we must prevent new babies being born at all costs. That's what it sounds like to me.
That's exactly. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy that you said that. That's exactly what it is. Either they're going to chemically castrate your children and believe that that you can be a woman, or a man can be a woman can be a man, and they're going to do it at the earliest stages of life.
Or they can mentally castrate them.
Exactly.
Castrate them. Absolutely.
100%. Or I mean, and then on top of that, you have, and I talk about this on a different stream, and I'm going to put up abortion. I'm currently editing my abortion video, so get ready for that.
Okay.
But they're trying to kill babies even 14 days after it leaves the womb.
That can't be true.
Yes, it's a bill that's putting out in California, and Virginia. This is a law. Yes.
Kidding me?
They will
Make any
if
sense? That's murder. That's okay. See,
that's
now we're crime. That's
infanticide.
infanticide. Yes,
Yes.
that's a crime. You can't.
Hmm.
What? Are you
Mhm.
kidding me? Are you serious with this? There's
Yeah.
really going to be a law?
Yes.
Oh my god. Oh my god, dude.
Yeah.
Oh my god, they're actually verifying it in the chat.
Yeah.
That is unbelievable.
Yeah. So we are living in an age where, and here's the thing. This is why I say the left is going to eat itself to the point where people are just going to come back to reality, and the pendulum will swing backward, or it will
It
swing
has
back.
to. It's
It has
cyclical.
to at some point, because if you like, they are trying at this right now. I actually was talking about this on social media. They are trying. There's a shortage of baby formula. Okay.
Oh yeah, I saw an article about that today.
They
Yeah.
they're doing everything in their power, everything, to try to malnourish.
Wait a minute. So you think the shortage in baby formula is
I mean, I'm like a low key tinfoil hat person.
a black helicopter tinfoil hat?
Yeah.
Wow.
There's a lot of things at play here, and I'm not going to get too in deep into. Yes, yeah, California,
Are
Virginia,
you?
New York.
This is we're in clown world.
Yeah, no, and in Colorado as well. So
This
you can kill a baby at birth, essentially. You can deliver the baby, and then they'll say, "Oh, you don't want it? Cool. We'll make it comfortable and put it to sleep."
Oh, that's okay. That's all right. Well, I don't want to discuss that any further because
Yes.
that's really making
So that's the world that we live in. And the more and more that they start taking these groups that would, vote for them, like if you pin mothers against children, if you're doing all of these things, they're eventually going to run out of people that are going to vote for these crazy laws.
Yeah.
And by the way, we are starting to see the shift in this. Obviously, we know about Roe v. Wade, right?
Of
The
course,
possible
yeah,
overturn,
right. That's
and that I believe Congress tried to put out something about like universal abortion nationwide at any stage, and that was like that they voted against it. So
okay.
yeah, so these things, exactly. So we are seeing the tides turn, and I think we're going to start seeing things change, especially like in the next couple years. Because if you push people too far, eventually they're not going to buy in. Because the problem with the main issue with the left, and like this is where feminism gets played in as well, is that they're going to take this to the extreme. There's no middle ground. If you don't believe every single piece of garbage that they spew out, right, you are then considered the enemy. So it doesn't matter if you believe every single thing except one topic or one issue. They will completely throw you on the bus, eat you alive, and say, "You're done. We'll disown you and we'll feed you to the wolves." So good, amazing. Let that happen. I hope more of this happens. I hope more people find the red pill, not only here, but like in politics as well.
Yeah.
And I think more people are going to start seeing the light of day.
That's fucking.
Oh yeah, and I don't think this is going to be monetized. I'm so sorry.
Oh no, we're getting the this is yellow dollar sign all day, man.
But I mean, all of these things play into the feminist ideology because everything is about intersectionality now, like all of it, and it all gets mumbled together, muddled together, and becomes just utter crap. So wasn't expecting fire.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's the feminist Rebecca coming out, right?
Well,
Barrett,
it really makes me, it really just
that makes me that really upsets me because I love babies, man. I don't want to have one, but I love babies, man. I really, really do. Rebecca, this was fantastic. This far exceeded my expectations. Listen, it's never really a podcast until it's demonetized. So this has officially been a
yay
podcast. Big thanks goes out to Jeremy Sears with the $15 super chat. So guys, listen, subscribe to Rebecca. She is it never takes me long to figure out whether someone is genuine or not. As far as women are concerned, I've made a personnel decision mistake or two in the past. With men, I've made plenty of personnel mistakes, but it was very clear to me very quickly that you are absolutely the real deal. So thank you very much for taking the time away from the human who poops every 2 hours and doesn't speak English and needs to be fed every 3 hours to come on and talk to us. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. And I hope I brought something that people can take away from.
Yeah, we would listen. I would love to have you on more often. Obviously, at night is probably going to be the best time.
Oh, at night.
Sleep.
At night is where I do literally everything.
Perfect. Perfect. Yeah, I'd love to get you on with the girls because I think that would be a fantastic.
And I love Pearl and I love Allie, and I think they're gonna come. I think they're gonna come visit me when you guys are here for the CME, right?
Yeah,
so
that's right.
I was like, you guys have to come up so we could like get coffee because I've met Pearl before. I've never met Allie in person. Yeah.
Well, you were absolutely going to meet the both of them. Cody Marshall, $10 says, I'm glad I found your channel. R.I.P. Kevin Samuels.
Yeah.
With that is going to do it for this special edition of TSR Primetime. Rebecca, thank you very much for making time for us tonight, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you. Bye.